Welcome to Offshore Kasuma. In this video, we will share with you on health, safety, and environment induction. Throughout the induction, we will explain to you about company overview, policies, objectives, rules and prohibition, process mobilization, offshore, personal protective equipment, PPE, permit to work, high-risk work, chemical safety, environmental awareness, emergency readiness, incident report procedure, and HAZSPOT program. Offshore Kasuma, known as OKSB, comprises of experienced and qualified professionals, specialized engineers, and well-trained technicians. We are capable of providing services in repair and maintenance of a wide range of cranes, lifting equipment, corrosion prevention, repair, and marine supplies. We are incorporated in 2010, providing products and services for oil and gas, marine, and heavy engineering industry. At OKSB, we operate on Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., while for offshore setting, 12 hours per day. Safety Toolbox Talk will be done every Tuesday or Thursday at 10:20 a.m. If you observe any suspicious person or behavior on site, unusual boat or ship approaching the platform, anyone using bring banned substances or smoking outside designated areas, suspicious or unexpected packages, immediately report to person in charge. Manpower Coordinator, MANCO, will book for mob 3 days before and inform radio operator, RO. All crew must have valid PTS. If not fit to work due to health concerns, Return to Work Program, RTW, applied. Submit to relevant parties to check validity and approval. On board, mob. You will not be authorized to board any customer platform asset without a valid BOSIT KEBAS emergency breathing system, offshore medical, offshore safety passport. Permit to work, working at height level 1, attended awareness, H2. S training, WAH rescuer training note. Requirements may differ based on scope of work offshore. OKSB wish to highlight, every employee plays a critical role in the success of the ESH program. We are responsible of following the rules and regulations as well as our own safety and health at the workplace. OKSB is committed to ensure the healthy and safe working conditions as well as fulfilling the compliant obligation by the company and government. OKSB strongly commits to promote safe working practices and environmental protection, as well as continuously improve HSE values in all activities. We also consistently exceed clients' needs and expectations by complying ISO 9001 requirements as stated in our quality policy. In drug and alcohol policy, OKSB is stringent on drug and alcohol abuse. The employee and workplace must be free from drug and alcohol. We have the rights to stop any work that could physically endanger workers or cause adverse impact to environment and property damage. These are the responsibilities of employee and employer according to Occupational Safety and Health Act. It's the duty of the employer to provide and maintain a safe workplace under Section 15. It's also the duty of the employee to take care of yourself and other persons at the workplace under Section 24. Failure to comply will cause penalty to employer as well as employee. Here are HSE rules that you should obey. Always use PPE inside workshop. Only competent person allowed to use overhead crane. Only authorized forklift drivers allowed to use forklift. Must keep all equipment properly. Do not place on the ground. Off machine each time finish work. Maintain good housekeeping at all times. Declare tools when check into security. Follow all helicopter rules. Declare medication status to medic upon arrival on platform. Prohibition and restriction. No smoking, only allowed at smoking area. No matches and cigarette lighters in helicopter. No drugs and alcohol intake around work premises. Do not use hand phone during working. At offshore platform, no fighting, act of vandalism, damage on safety equipment, no firearms and other weapon. Here is the smoking zone in HQ in green color, which located outside from the office. Here is the smoking zone in Kimaman in green color. Here is the smoking zone in Miri in green color, which located outside from the office and workshop and storage. In this section, we will explain process mobilization. Once arrived at the entrance, conduct check-in using MyPet apps. Then, PPE inspection and pre-mob alcohol and drug test will perform by contractor manpower and safety personnel. Please make sure you tag your own belongings using Correction Locations platform and fill up any form for registration. Next, AIMS reps will review and verify the health declaration status, and motion sickness will be provided at kiosk. If you carry tools, fill up tools declaration form for verifications. All items will be scanned by AIMS except carry item. After that, AIMS Paulus Bantuan will do security checking. Proceed to safety briefing hall. If bad weather or condition occur, the process mobilization will be taken at Kurta Airport. Once arrived at the airport, conduct check-in using MyPet apps. Tag your belongings using Correction Locations platform and fill up form for registration. Be alert with the announcement for check-in followed the counter. Submit health declaration to counter personal. Take weight included the luggage and loading luggage. Flight ticket will provide once finished this process. Airport Paulus Bantuan will do security checking. Proceed to safety briefing hall. Follow further instruction from aircraft rep waiting at departure hall until announcement to wear the life jacket EBS by aircraft reps. Here are the items that require declaration for offshore. Medication included prescribed medicine, vitamins. Smoking devices such as vape, tobacco. Also, tools and equipment. Failure to declare will be subjected to disciplinary action. You will be given an arrival briefing. Watch the video carefully. Ask First Line Supervisor, FLS, about anything you do not understand in the video. If you are new, you are a short service worker, SSW, and additional briefing. If traveling to satellite platform, another briefing on mother platform. Safety tips on board. Wearing any jewelry is not permitted at any time or location on board. Open-toe footwear is not permitted in accommodation. Do not remove cell phone from the accommodation area. Respect co-workers' work schedule. Do not make noise in corridors or try to access cabins when people are sleeping. Maintain good personal hygiene. Emergency response at platform. Ensure you know your Brucker station and your tag number. Be familiar with platform layout, escape routes, assembly and alternate assembly areas, Brucker and life rafts locations, ESD buttons, eye wash and shower stations. Recognize types of alarm and respond appropriately. No shorts and slippers during emergency response. Put on your coveralls, safety shoes, and life jacket. Emergency shutdown, ESD. When do you activate an ESD? When you see smoke and fire, gas release, spill. What could happen if you do not activate the ESD? Catastrophic incidents might take place. PPE is worn to minimize exposure to hazards that cause serious workplace injuries and illnesses. These are the basic example of PPE used on-site and offshore. It is mandatory to wear safety helmet, safety shoes or boots, gloves, earplug, safety vest, or coverall when you are at place-required PPE. Additional PPE will be used according to the job scope, such as high-noise area, you must wear double hearing protection. Working at height, you must wear safety harness and hook. When handle chemical, wear glove and respirator. During hot work, use face shield and respirator to protect yourself. Here is example of safety signage. Always obey safety signs and use PPE whenever required. It is mandatory to wear PPE around work premise and always obey PPE signage. Please ensure all the PPE are in good form and free from any contamination. Here is the layout PPE zone for Kimamen. Please wear PPE in red zone. Green zone is free PPE zone. Here's the layout PPE zone for Miri. Please wear PPE in red zone. This is the flow to purchase PPE. Submit form to Manpower Coordinator and they will liaise with Material Coordinator to check PPE stock or purchase new. If you unsure to acquire which PPE, you can check in PPE Matrix or liaise with HSE team. What is permit to work? Permit to work is a special authorization documentation that ensures adequate risk has been accessed for the process and a level of control has been put in place to reduce the severity, likelihood, and potential of an incident occurring. Type of work permits hot work, cold work, confined space, electrical work, working at heights, LODO. Application of permit to work. Manco will coordinate all permit to work according to work scope. They will prepare and validate training matrix such as BOSET, Offshore Medical, CC Card, Offshore Safety Passport, Permit to Work Mandatory Level 1. Manco will apply permit to work or control of work according to client's requirement and procedure. Then, obtain approval from client. Hot work is any activity involving electric or gas welding, cutting, brazing, or similar flame or spark-producing operations. Example of hot work: welding, cutting, grinding, or use of internal combustion equipment such as genset or mobile air compressor. Safety requirement for hot work. All hot work activities must apply hot work permit. All equipment, machine, and generator must be in good working condition. Avoid hazardous area and/or poor ventilation area. Ensure no flammable material near the working area. All personnel must be provided with proper PPE. Place safety signs or barricades around the job. Grounding connection shall be securely grounded before use. Stay clear of the regulator and pressure gauges. Fire extinguisher on standby, and fire watch shall be present for standby for any potential to cause fire. Confined space is any enclosed or partially enclosed space with limited entry and egress and not suitable for human inhabitants. Confined space is considered a space that has limited or restricted means for entry or exit, and not designed for continuous employee occupancy, as well as is subject to developing a hazardous atmosphere. Safety requirement for confined space. Entry into confined spaces must be subjected to a written permit to work with authorized entry. A copy of the permit should be available at the workplace while the job is in progress. The qualified entry supervisor must accept responsibility for ensuring that the conditions of the permit are maintained. The person assigned to standby duties must be appropriately trained and instructed. All personnel selected for entering or acting as attendants in confined spaces must be physically and mentally fit, trained, and competent. Equipment in the confined space must be locked out and tagged out to prevent inadvertent use. Signs in and out should be done in the permit and posted at the entry point to stop unauthorized personnel. The atmosphere both in and around the confined space must be tested before entry to determine if entry is permissible and always after any work break. Provide appropriate and continuous ventilation of the confined space. PPE should be provided as necessary, for example, safety helmet, respiratory protection. Fire protection must be considered not only in the space itself, but also in any adjacent spaces. Working at height is any work above ground level which a person could fall. Applicability of work at height. Working at height of more 2 meters. Slanted roof. Working at floor with unprotected edge. Work using forklift cage. Scaffolding safety. Scaffolding higher than 2 meters shall be supervised by an approved DOSH or NEOSH certified scaffolding supervisor. Defective scaffolding planks, clamps, etc. shall be taken out of service and repaired or replaced. Prohibited to alter any scaffold parts. All scaffolds shall be equipped with proper access. Scaffolds more than 9 meters in height shall be provided with a ladder break and rest deck with additional breaks and decks every 9 meters thereafter. All scaffolding must be equipped with handrails, midrails, and toe boards. All scaffolds shall be tagged. Red, not safe for work. Green, safe to work. Barricade tape and danger, keep away signboards shall be used to keep other workers away from dangerous areas. Employees shall not work on scaffolds during storms, high winds, or heavy rains. All personnel must be equipped with fall protection PPE. Fall protection system. Usage of special equipment to restrain fall distance when a person is falling from height. The system is made of body harness, hook, lanyard, and lifeline. When is fall protection required? When there is risk of falling to dangerous height, place, or any work at more than 2 meters height. Safety harnesses must be sized for the worker and must be worn snugly with correct tightness. Lifting and rigging. The operation and use of lifting appliances and rigging equipment must be strictly in accordance with the recommendations and instructions of the equipment manufacturer. Safety devices shall be in place and proven operable during any lifting operation. Custom-designed rigging equipment is permitted, provided it has been designed by an engineer, built to good manufacturing practices, for example, welds NDT tested, has the working load limit permanently marked on it, and has been proof tested to 125% of the working load limit. Personnel lifting. Personnel lifting is commonly used for lifting or lowering person in lifting platform, such as crane cage or forklift cage. Only competent person shall operate, inspect, and test the platform. Personnel lifting platforms must not be operated when bad weather condition. Hoisting of personnel must be in slow, controlled manner, no sudden movement. All occupants must wear fall protection PPE during lifting. Lockout and tagout, LOTO. Lockout-tagout refers to safety practices and procedures that ensure dangerous machines are properly shut off and are not able to unexpectedly release hazardous energy during maintenance activities. Lockout is to prevent accidental opening of valve or electrical appliance that could harm people, a lock and key. Tagout is to provide a warning on the danger of opening the valve or electrical appliance, signs or symbols attached securely to equipment. Safety procedure for LOTO 1. Identify energy sources, potential hazards, and all devices control. 2. Notify all affected employees of the activities and equipment involved. 3. Shut down all the intended machine. 4. Isolate energy or devices. 5. Identify items to lock and tag. 6. Lock and release energy. 7. Test LOTO effectiveness. Try to turn on the switch. If the item could not be turned on, the LOTO is then verified as successful. Turn the switch back off. 8. Start work, for example, maintenance or service. Electrical safety. All wires and cables shall be arranged properly in a safe manner. Ensure that connections are correct and earthing is properly connected to the metal parts. Do not attempt to repair the faulty or defective appliances. Only authorized personnel are allowed to work in electrical area. Before work on an electrically operated machine, switch off the main supply and display signboards. Use correct PPE, for example rubber gloves, when repairing any electrical equipment. Safe chemical handling. Chemical can get into your body by inhalation, absorption, ingestion, and injection, and do damage. The severity of health effects depends on duration of exposure, frequency of exposure, route of exposure, and type of chemical. Types of chemicals can be seen in our site, such as flammables, corrosive, irritant. Basic PPE when handling chemical: safety glasses, gloves, safety shoes, respirator protection. Chemical labeling. Chemical labels are important as it is one way of informing people about potential hazards, the product ingredients, health risk, and more. The label must consist of 6 elements such as product identifier, signal word, hazard statement, precautionary statements, pictograms, and supplier information. The label must be labeled clearly and complete with 6 elements. Safety data sheets. SDS are detailed information prepared by the manufacturer that describes the chemical properties, health hazards, routes of exposure, precautions for safe handling, emergency and first aid procedures, and control measures. The validity of SDS is 5 years. Please obtain the latest SDS and keep near to the chemical used. Here in OKSB, we encourage our works to go green and recycle as much as possible. Tips of 3 are: go paperless if possible. Use the other side of used paper for drafting, printing, and taking notes. Unsubscribe from junk mail. Implement a recycling program. Emergency evacuation instructions. Upon hearing the continuous sirens, it indicates an emergency. Immediately leave the area. Do not panic and run. Remain with your host or follow other YLSB employees to their nearest assembly points. Wait for further instructions. Shah Alam escape route is located in front of the office at parking lot area. Escape route for Kemaman is located at gate 2. Miri escape route is located outside office and workshop and storage area. Here is a quick treatment if you are bleeding as followed. External bleeding occurs with open wounds whereby the skin is broken. Internal bleeding is the escape of blood into spaces inside the body. Treatment. You must wear gloves before touch the victims. Cover exposed wound with clean cloth or gauze. Apply direct pressure. Clean wound with antiseptic solution. Elevate the area. Apply a pressure bandage. If you are amputated, please treat the victim's parts by control bleeding. Treat for shock. Cover the wound with clean cloth. Wrap the amputated part in plastic bag and place on or in a bag of ice. Transport the part with the victim. If embedded objects, do not remove the object. Control the bleeding around the object. Stabilize the object by ring bandage. Treatment of the burn is according to the severity of burn. If you exposed to first-degree burn, please cool with water until relieve pain. For second-degree burn, do not break the blisters while cool with water. Third-degree burn needs immediate medical care. If one of your workers face electrical shock, immediately turn off the main source. First aid for this event is: prepare to perform CPR if the victim cardiac arrest. Make the scene safe. Open airway and check breathing. Cover burns. Care for shock. Call for medical care for chemical burn ensures you wear full PPE before help the victims. First aid, flush skin. Remove contaminated clothing if it non-stick. Cover burn. Care for shock. Seek medical care. For chemical eye injuries, immediately flush with water for 20 minutes. Do not rub your eyes. Seek immediate medical care. For penetration, stabilize the object by ring bandage. Cover the damaged eye. Seek immediate medical care. For fracture events, please check for any signs as below: deformity, open wounds, tenderness, sensitivity to pain, swelling. For simple fracture, first aid, check circulation and splint the injured area. Apply a cold pack and elevate. Seek medical care. For major fracture, first aid, stabilize by using splinting method to the injured part to prevent movement. Cover wound and exposed bones without applying pressure. Seek medical care. If somebody fainting, here are some steps you should do. Lay the victim on the back. Elevate their legs above their head level using stool, cushion, or pillow. Loosen the victim's clothing. Reassure them. If they unresponsive, check their breathing and open their airway. Heat stroke occurs when the body can no longer control its temperature. Signs of heat stroke: body temperature become extremely hot, dry skin, confusion, seizures, unresponsiveness. First aid: stop activity and rest in cool place. Call ERT. If unresponsive, open airway, check breathing, and provide care. Rapidly cool patient with cool, wet towels, fanning, and cold packs. CPR is a life-saving technique that's useful in many emergencies in which someone's breathing or heartbeat has stopped. When CPR is needed, someone is not breathing normally or cardiac arrest. Remember Dr. Cabby, D for danger. Ensure the area is safe for yourself, others, and the victims. R for responsive. Check for responsiveness and breathing. Call 999. C for compression. Provide 30 chest compression. Push hard and fast. A for airway. Open airway by head tilt, chin tilt. B for breathing. Provide 2 rescue breaths. Repeat the compression and breath cycle. Accident and near miss. These two incidents need to be reported if occurs. Accident is an unfortunate incident that happens unexpectedly and unintentionally, typically resulting in damage or injury. Near miss are potential hazard or incident in which no injury and/or no property was damaged. Here's the emergency communication flow. If such events occur at platform or OKSB facility, please escalate to SOM by verbal, call, or email. The SOM will notify HSE and incident will be categorized and investigation will be done. OKSB Incident Reporting Procedure. If such events occur at platform or OKSB facility, supervisor will report to SOM and HSE. HSE will verbal escalate to top management as soon as possible. Preliminary investigation will be done within 1 hour by supervisor. HSE or SOM will conduct initial investigation and reporting to finalize the incident root cause within 24 hours. All data gathered. Top management meeting and safety alert circulation. Incident report highlight. All near miss and occupational illnesses and incidents events need to be reported for JKKP compliance. Any event occurred on board or client facility to be managed in accordance to client investigation procedure. HazSpot, a channel to report directly to HSE team about any unsafe act, unsafe condition, near miss and complaint. What is unsafe act and unsafe condition? Unsafe acts are action by people that directly cause or contribute to an accident. Unsafe condition are workplace hazards that have potential to cause injury or death to an employee. Please report to your supervisor if you face any unsafe incidents. The program is to encourage employee to speak up and increase awareness on safety, health, and environment. Please use this channel to raise your issue or suggest improvement. Before we end our induction, please scan the QR code for induction assessment and PPE requisite. Thank you for your time, and please contact us if you have any concern related to safety, health, and environment.